So today, we're going to talk about something, well, something really different. It's an approach to dementia care called the Caladenia Way. And really, it's a story about dignity, about respect, and about totally rethinking what it even means to care for someone. All right, so let's just start with the question that's at the heart of all of this. I mean, really think about it. What does a good day actually look like for a person living with dementia? It sounds simple, but it's not. And honestly, finding the answer to that is the whole point. And the foundation, the starting point for answering that big question, is this idea right here: person-driven care. Look, this is all about getting rid of that one-size-fits-all mentality. Instead, it's about building a real partnership, one that actually honors who the person is, their life, their goals, what they value. Okay, so what does that actually mean in the real world? Well, this whole philosophy, which was started by a woman named Trish Maggs way back in 1983, it's built on a few key ideas. We're talking about a totally individualized approach, right? Where respect isn't just some word you throw around, it's at the center of everything. It's about empowering people, working together, focusing on the whole person. And when you do that, you're not just managing a disease anymore, you're supporting a life. So how do you take this big idea and make it real? Well, it starts with the space itself. You have to create a place that feels like a home, not, an institution. And this quote, this just says it all, doesn't it? Just picture it for a second. You walk into a room and the table is set beautifully, as if they're expecting special guests, because they are. It just immediately tells you something, right? It says, you matter. We were waiting for you. You're our guest. And this culture of respect, it's in all these little, tiny, but super intentional details. A doorbell rings, and every single person is welcomed by name. They're not patients or clients, they're members of a club. They get to the table, and their own personalized name tag is waiting for them. And the whole philosophy is the staff adapts to the member, not the other way around. Oh, and this is a big one. No one ever sits alone at the table. See? Every little thing reinforces the message. This is your place. Now, you're probably thinking the day is just jam-packed with activities, right? But here's the twist. And this is where it gets really, really interesting. The activities, they aren't actually the point. They're just a tool, a catalyst for something way more important. This one idea just completely flips the script on what a daily program is supposed to be. It's not about filling up hours on a schedule or just keeping people busy. No, it's about creating opportunities for real, genuine human connection. The activity, that's just the spark that gets the fire going. Okay, let me give you a perfect example. So on the schedule, it might say karaoke afternoon 50s and 60s hits. But what's really happening? What's the human outcome? It's the stories that pop up. It's people reminiscing about where they first heard that song or who they danced to it with. The karaoke is just the excuse. The real point is valuing every single person's story. And it's the same thing with something as simple as a joke. The goal isn't just to get a laugh, like a stand-up comic. The jokes are picked because they're inclusive, things everyone can relate to. Because at the end of the day, it's not about the joke itself. It's about the shared laughter. That's what builds that sense of belonging. But look, let's be real. A good day isn't always filled with karaoke and laughter. Sometimes it's tough. So the big question is, how does this whole person-centered idea work when you're dealing with the really challenging stuff? The anxiety, the distress. It all comes down to this one single guiding principle. You could almost call it a mantra. See the person, not the behavior. What that means is when someone is acting out or seems difficult, your first job isn't to stop the behavior. It's to look right through it and try to figure out the unmet need that's causing it. There's this incredible story that just brings this to life. There was this gentleman who kept unmaking all the beds in the facility, over and over. And of course, he got labeled difficult, challenging, but then someone took the time to dig into his past. Turns out he was a wool classer his entire life. And that motion of smoothing out the bedspread, it was the exact same motion he used to spread out fleeces for sorting. He wasn't being difficult, he was trying to do his life's work. So what did they do? They gave him some merino wool to sort. And just like that, the behavior stopped and he had his purpose back. So this thinking gives staff a real practical toolkit for those tough moments. Step 1, validate their feeling. Say something like, I can see you're sad. Don't just argue. Step 2, look around. What's going on? Is it too noisy? Too bright? Then step 3, distract, but with a purpose. Asking, hey, could you help me with this? Give someone a sense of value. And step 4, if nothing else works, bring in a new face. Sometimes a different person can totally reset the situation. It's all about connecting with the person, not just correcting a problem. Okay, all of this leads to what is honestly probably the most radical and maybe controversial idea in the whole Caladenia Way. It's the ultimate expression of all this respect we've been talking about. So, in most care settings, the number one rule is duty of care. It's this idea that your primary job is to keep people safe, to prevent any harm. Which sounds good, right? But the Caladenia Way introduces a competing idea: dignity of risk. And this is the belief that every single person has the right to make their own choices, to take some risks, because, that's how we live. That's how we grow and feel alive. And they have a motto for it. It's simple, but it's so powerful. No more cotton wool. It's this declaration that we're going to stop wrapping people up and protecting them from every little thing. Because when you do that, you take away their independence. So what does that actually look like? Can people with dementia go line dancing? Yep. Can they go for a ride on a Harley Davidson? You bet. Can they carry their own bowl of hot soup to the table? Yes. Look, the point isn't to be reckless. It's to stop taking away every single choice in the name of safety. Because when you strip away all the risk, you often strip away all the joy and purpose too. And this really brings us to a much bigger question, doesn't it? One that goes way beyond dementia care. In our world today, which is so focused on avoiding risk and liability at all costs, how do we make sure we are always putting a person's dignity and their right to choose first? It's something we all need to think about.